With the conclusion of the decathlon, the women got started today in the heptathlon, and the #1 heptathlete in the country is that young lady right there, Tamara Chapman, the transfer from North Carolina State, landing in College Station. This is her first event as she gets her campaign underway. The women's heptathlon 100-meter hurdles, Heat 1. There you see Avery Anderson of Colorado blazing away on the outside, but Tamara Chapman, she would take Heat 1 13:40, and she would get a personal best. Great way to start any multi-event competition. This is Christine Blazovica, the senior from Texas. Her final competition in a Texas uniform. She would go in Heat 3. Running really well. Look at her close over the last couple of hurdles. And she would go 13:36, a little bit faster than Tamara Chapman, and she would run a personal best. A great way for her to get started. This Jaden O'Brien, two-time indoor pentathlon champion. And talking to her coach, Rodney Zudowick, he said he finally got her down from graduation season, parties and speaking engagements and families visiting. He said it's time to go to business, and she went to business on the inside. She was in Heat 4. She's looking as strong as ever as she gets to the finish line. She runs 13:35 and a personal best for her. And the ladies were off and running in the heptathlon.
Over to Dan for the heptathlon high jump.
Well, the ladies moved to the south side of this stadium. This is Christina Blazovica, the senior from Texas. The high jump is an area that she has struggled at in the past, but she was on today as she gets over 5'8" 3/4 on her first attempt. And she would quickly get off that pit and celebrate. But here is one of your favorite coming in here. She's scored over 6,100 points this season. Tamara Chapman, the senior from Texas A&M, and she'd gone her second attempt, go 5'11" 1/4 for an all-time personal best. And here's Charity Huffnagel. She was the NCAA champ while at Ball State in the high jump, so you knew she was going to high jump well. But that's a third attempt at 6'1" 1/2", and she would get over and score big points here in the heptathlon, 1,067 points.
All right, let's get you caught up on heptathlon event number 3.
Well, the ladies would move over to the shot put ring, and here's Tamara Chapman. It's an outstanding shot putter, the senior from Texas A&M. Huge improvement for her since transferring over from North Carolina State, coached by Mario Centena, who won an NCAA title while at LSU. Here's Annika Williams from Oregon. She was the final qualifier to get into this field, and it just happened to be that she was one of the Oregon athletes to get in. She's just a junior. On her second attempt, she would go big. 47.7 1/4 for a personal best. 828 points. And Charity Huffnagel, a high jumper turned heptathlete in her final season at Kentucky. This is her third attempt. She would find a way to get that shot put out there to an all-time personal best. 44 feet 3/4 inches. And she's rolling here on day one. And then the indoor two-time pentathlon champ from Notre Dame, Jaden O'Brien, who's off to a really good start in this competition. On a third attempt, she would blast one way out there. 48.9 even for a personal best. And so after four events, Tamara Chapman from Texas A&M, she would be your leader. Annika Williams followed by Huffnagel, O'Brien in 5th place.
And when we come back, we will show you the 4th and final event of day 1 of the heptathlon, the 200 meters. Heptathlon 200, the 4th and final event of day 1. 3 sections moments ago. They had the first couple of sections. And they often will group the athletes with similar personal bests in these races.
In the middle of the track there, that's Jaden O'Brien from Notre Dame, the two-time pentathlon NCAA champ. Look at her pull away from the field. She had a personal best in the 100-meter hurdle. Then she turned around and had a personal best in the shot put, and she finishes day 1 with what? A personal best. She is absolutely rolling. And then here we are in the second heat, and the crowd came to their feet because Annika Williams, the junior from Oregon on the outside, was taking control of this race. And on the inside, that's Ella Rush from Georgia battling as well. But Annika Williams is having an outstanding first day. Big shot put for her, and she would finish with a really solid 200 meters, 36.90 for her at the end of day one. But we got one more heat to go, and then we'll get you guys all of the scores and let you know who your leader is after the fourth event. But there you see Tamara Chapman, the leader coming into this event. Janelle Rogers, the NCAA indoor runner-up in the pentathlon. But Tamara Chapman going to work here in the fourth event. Inside of her, Avery McMullen from Colorado. She's got the fastest personal best in this time of 20 in this heat of 23.85. The Pac-12 champ goes in lane 6.
No wind to speak of in the stadium on this day, which made it even warmer for these athletes. So keying on the middle of the track in lane 6, Avery McMullen with the best time on paper. Big event for Tamara Chapman to try and extend her lead. This is Junior Thomas. Thomas is going to win this section. The Texas A&M senior, 23.53, and that is a lifetime best in the 200, corrected to 23.57 with no wind at all. Janelle Rogers ends up getting second in 23.60, very tight there at the finish. Izzy Gudros was third. Tamara Chapman ended up fourth with 24.18, and that is also a lifetime best for the leader after 4 events, the leader at the end of the first day.
The women started their second day here in the heptathlon. There you see the leader after the first day, Texas A&M Aggie Tamara Chapman, 39.74, just a slight lead over the NCAA two-time indoor pentathlon champ, Jaden O'Brien. But your leaders would get things going here on the second day. O'Brien, just a junior, on her second attempt, she would send one out there for a personal best, an all-time personal best. Her third of this competition, 20 feet 7 3/4. And your leader, not to be outdone in the second round, she says, you know what, if Jaden can get a PR this early in the morning, so can I. On her second attempt, she would send one out there. Great reach into the sand, nice finish. Beautiful day here for the multi-events. The men got nice weather, the women got great weather as well. But Tamara Chapman on her second round jump, she goes 20 feet 9 for a personal best, and she is well ahead of her all-time personal score of 6,200 points. She would love to get the Olympic qualifying standard of 64. This is Janelle Rogers from Ball State, the senior. She's featured prominently in the last 3 national championships, both indoors and outdoors, and on her third attempt, she'd go 20 feet 5 and also jump a personal best. So 108 points separate O'Brien and Chapman, and only 4 points behind is Janelle Rogers. Well, when the ladies throw the heptathlon javelin, you know the end is near. This is Tamara Chapman, your leader from Texas A&M, the senior. Short approach, but a pretty good javelin throw on her first attempt. She would put one out there, 139 feet 6 inches for 716 points. She would retain her lead. And here is Jaden O'Brien, the junior from Notre Dame, her second attempt. Nice stop on that left side. And she'd go 138 feet 2 inches. She would remain in second position, only 116 points now behind Tamara Chapman. But the senior from Texas, Christine Blazavica, she would make a move here in the javelin and put herself within striking distance of the leaders. On her third attempt, she would go a personal best, 143 feet 9 inches. For 741 points, and she would take over third position, and she'd be only 240 points behind Tamara Chapman, the leader.
All right, let's take a look at the standings before this second section of the 800 meters. These are the seeded athletes, the top 12. Here is Tamara Chapman of Texas A&M. She's got about a 116-point lead. It's about a 9-second lead in the 800. She's a decent 800-meter runner, but not as good as the athlete in second place who has a better 800-meter time. So she can't let this race get away from her. She's got to stay close enough to let that 113-point lead work in her favor.
Well, Jaden O'Brien in second place from Notre Dame. She has run 2:11, and that's about 5 seconds faster than Tamara Chapman has run as a personal best. Christine Blazevicia of Texas, there you see her in 5th place. By virtue of that wonderful javelin throw, she moves herself up into 3rd place. She's run 2:13, so outstanding 800-meter times for some of our leaders. And you get a look at Anika Williams in there from Oregon. She's currently in 8th place. She would love, or excuse me, she is in 5th place. She would love to stay there, score some points for the Oregon Ducks, but she's not a great 800-meter runner.
Dan, how would you describe the way that these women's legs feel after competing in so many events and now having to run this daunting 800 meters?
Well, I thought the 1500 meters was difficult, but after coaching young ladies in the 800 meters, it's probably as daunting as the 15. That's Charity Huffnagel out front from Kentucky. We saw her compete in the open high jump earlier, and she's leading a really great group here in the 800 meters, pushing the pace. But this is her last collegiate competition. She has a 2:16 personal best, and she right now sits in 11th position, trying to move up into scoring position.
So Huffnagel going out in 65 seconds, pretty ambitious for a converted high jumper. There goes Tamara Chapman. She is leading now, and she's ahead of O'Brien, who has a better 800-meter time. So unless she falls down, she's got this baby wrapped up, because she's ahead of the person she needed to be within probably 15 or 20 meters of.
Yeah, Tamara Chapman running very inspired here in this 800 meters. Christine Blazevicia needed to beat her by quite a bit. Same with Jaden O'Brien. But it's great when you have the lead and you can pass the person who needs to gain points on you. It's very inspiring, but Blazevicia is going to come through with a strong finish, 2:14. Jaden O'Brien right behind her. And Tamara Chapman not far behind, but we need to keep a look at the scores. Tamara Chapman would love to score 6,400, get that Olympic qualifying standard, but we will see her back here in a few weeks, or a couple of weeks, for the Olympic trials, where she will try to get on an Olympic team, and she'll come up just short of that 6,400 point, 63.39. But she'll take the NCAA title just 1 year after transferring into Texas A&M.
So no Olympic standard here, but she will have another chance at the Olympic trials in a few weeks. Right back here at Hayward Field. Never know what the conditions are going to be like. You know how blistering hot the last Olympic trials were back in 2021.
I'm tired. I apologize. Thank you.
All right, we will be back when we get all of the scores situated and can officially crown Tamara Chapman as the NCAA champion. But when we return and get that business done, it'll be time for the 5,000-meter final.